Well, hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by. We're back in Diversity 2 with the developer commentary. This is episode 2, and today we are going to be talking about the command blocks, mechanics, magic, trickery, whatever you want to call it, behind the gimmicks in in Diversity 2, the hub section. Episode 1, we talked about my thought process of why I did certain things, but this one's going to be a little bit more technical. So obviously, if you haven't seen episode 1, check it out. There are some minor spoilers, but we are still in the main section, so feel free to watch it. I'm not going to ruin anything for you. Plus, you've probably played the entire map by now. So before we get into the map, I want to show you here something that is happening below. As I said in episode 1, I put this pressure plate here to enter the map, but also to kill you because I thought it would be pretty funny. But down here, it actually does quite a bit more stuff. So in Diversity 1, I had an issue where players' spawns would be obstructed if I goofed up and accidentally made a spawn point in a section that didn't exist, like their bed blew up, or maybe they had a spawn point they were stepping on a half block or something. They would get sent back to this this spawn pad here, and so I wanted to come up with a way to send them back into the map where they left off. And we'll get into a bit more detail of this later, but basically this little block here is going to set, when they step on the pressure plate, it's going to activate a redstone block on here and activate all these game commands. Right here we got basically everything I want to be set when the map starts. We also change these throughout the map, but what it also does is changes a command block over here. So the second time somebody steps on that pressure plate, it's going to actually forget about this line. This is the starting line, and it's then going to actually run this command here. So this section here where it sets all the beginning and kills you, all the beginning game rules and kills you, is activated once. And then the rest of the map, these commands get activated, and these are basically just get swapped over every what do you call it? Over every branch selection. So we'll go over that in a little bit more detail later, but I wanted to continue on just to let you know that there is more to that than just killing you. It's a little bit more complicated. So let's enter here, and again, I talked in episode 1. I did that to be funny. Here, it's changed my game mode. That's important because we want them to be in adventure mode here. Can't break anything. Also, if you start on a server, you could start in any mode depending on what the player has it set at. So we automatically set them into adventure mode. They actually a berry block there. This is to draw their attention to Diversity 1. They go get their dead bush, and episode 1 I've talked about why they get a dead bush. And the text here that is going like that is intentional. I've had some people say, what is going on? Is it broken? It's intentional, just to throw you off. This here, I've done basically all the tell raw commands from a generator, and I'll link that in the description of the website I went to. But we insert that. I'll show you down below what's happening. Very simple. It's going through the hoppers and a little bit of a delay, kind of an ugly repeater delay. But then what it does is it changes right here, opens it up to where the chickens were in Diversity 1 and reveals the map. Had to add this because of Jiggerbob. He found out how to be a derp and basically break the map because you lost some wool from the very beginning. So I made it so you cannot put anything more in this chest without cheating. Anyway, opens this up here, and we now have our first reveal for Diversity 2. This I talked about in episode 1. It is done by a filter. I'll put that in the description through MC Edit. It's actually, they're not lit up. Oh, they are lit up because I glitched Minecraft, but those are just quartz blocks. They're not actually retextured or anything like that. They're not lamps, no texture pack. That's what I love doing, just default stuff. This chest here actually opens up. It kind of forces you to see there's a book, but it opens up that door, and that's my way of doing an actual check on the server. So let me show you what's happening. This command block sets a redstone block way down here, and let's see here. We have a little section here that is a server check. So let me tell you about servers. There are certain properties in running a server that unfortunately command blocks cannot alter, which means there's a possibility that the map may not work simply because server properties aren't set properly. So what I did is I came up with a system here, and I'll show you. Basically, this is, we'll just launch one here. We've got, there's a wolf. Yeah, so when the wolf lands on that, let's see, what is it going to do? Oh, that does nothing. He activates this redstone, which activates this. It's an AND gate, and all this gets activated. And basically what's happening is if I got a villager, a wolf, and a zombie, because there are three properties that are very important to have running. Allow NPCs, allow monsters, and allow animals. If any one of those isn't set, there's a little delay. It ends up setting a title command over here. Where is it? I think it's right there. Well, actually, right here. It says your server properties are actually. You know what we. Never mind. I'll do. I won't do it. But anyway, it says your server properties must be altered. So basically, you cannot continue the map unless you actually look at the file that I sent you and said check your server properties. So basically, these three things stop a circuit from activating title command and then open up the outside. If it's the opposite, if one of them is missing, then the title command goes on for a long time and the map is not opened. Very important, because I actually had the map break during testing because some players had spawn NPCs off, I think. And that was in the trivia section. Anyway, here in the hub, here we go. As I said last time, there's no lights in here except for that one. There's no way it's bright because of that. It's because I glitched it with that filter. Check the description for that. Here we have the hub, and this is kind of the section I think most people were kind of interested in how I did this and maybe the stairway and all that sort of thing. Here we have, yeah, so this, you can put anything down there. If it's not recognized, we have a little command. There we go. Thing that says you can't do that. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I did go over this in my Diversity 1 developer commentary, but let me just break out some mechanic lessons here to show you what we need to get into. All right, guys, here is a basic version of what's happening all in this section with this little cutaway here. So pay attention. It can be a little complicated, but I'll try to break it down for you. First of all, I want to show you this little thing. Here we have hoppers that are set on their side and ones that are open below it. If we have an area that an item, like a hopper that can receive an item below it, it will actually travel down instead of going the direction you want it to go. So right now I have one that'll take quartz. So if I get some quartz, and I have one that'll take chests. So if I get some chests, and I put a quartz block in this chest, you will see it will end up an extra one in here. It will not go to that chest. If I place something that is not allowed in those hoppers there, like this light stained gray clay, it's not going to go into any of them. It can't receive them. There you go. So that's kind of a neat thing to do with hoppers, and that's how the sorting system works. The other thing that you should know about hoppers is if they have a threshold of 18 plus, it doesn't matter what blocks they are, but this amount of blocks, then it can light up one extra redstone dust. And what happens down there is I have this set, you'll see in a minute, to receive one more color of wool of whatever color it is, and then it will activate the comparator, which will launch an extra redstone dust, which will hit a command block. In this case, we're actually going to destroy the block, whatever it's there. In this system here, it destroys whatever block it is, and you get that particle effect. And then we are going to summon some falling sand. So you can see the command there. These, you can just look at the map. I don't need to go over these commands, but this is what's happening here. It's actually summoning falling sand where I've broken the item of the same item I've broken. So in this case, I'm actually going to summon some prismarine just because I thought it would look interesting. you can basically put whatever block you want depending on if it's a full block or not. The transparent blocks look kind of funny when they fall, but 168 is the prismarine, so I'll show you that. You can see 168 right there, 168/2. That's the block data. Um, I'm not sure if actually you can put words in that or not yet. You might be able to. Data is the actual damage value. So depending on if you want to do wool or something, I still have it. So you can see there the data 2. If I pick a wool, you can see it's data 1, damage value 1, whatever it is. That's how we specify the color. And then the time in the drop basically makes it so it falls and lands properly. So you can play with that on your own. This will break, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to activate this with another chest. All we have to do is put a chest in there. It's going to break the block and launch the... there we go. Here we go. Breaks the block and launches the prismarine. So to show you how that works, let's grab this this block here. So I'm going to grab that wool and I'm going to put it in this chest, and you'll see activating down there. Basically, part of those commands are running a redstone block underneath the piston that pushes it up, and there we go. So what's happened down here is the redstone block gets set here. It pushes the piston up, and then immediately changes that block into a redstone block so that this lamp gets lit up. Now, the staircase. Let's go over that in a second. But I'll show you here, just the guts of it. We come down here. There's our item like up top, and it's going to try and sort it. So here it's going to look for that, either coarse dirt. Added that originally because you couldn't get it in creative mode, but you can now. Cyan wool, or this one you need a command block. That's to reset it. That's a lot more complicated. The pink one is whatever, pink wool, magenta, or purple wool. And you can see it's the same layout here. Goes, activates that, and we have a whole bunch of commands, but basically all it's doing is setting, it's just setting the piston to move up and all the mechanics there. That's all it's doing, basically. Over here, what is it doing here? I'm not entirely sure. I am not sure what that's doing. But whatever. I'm sure they're important, but I've also labeled them over here. So when you play around with the map and look at the mechanics on both these sides, on the black side and the other side, it tells you what it's doing. So there are some sound effects I do right here at the end. It's going to remove, break that, make those particles appear, and launch the wool block like falling sand. So you can see here I've got the coordinates set up. The same sort of thing, and that's actually removing it with air so that the block can fall. So that's essentially how that system works. And then they're also tied up here. They stay lit up, and you can see here when you activate one, it sets a torch off, and then when all these torches are off, it actually goes through the end sequence, which is this redstone wire here. Story motion with all these delays, and yeah, I'm pretty archaic with the delays. And then all this section here is the actual ending of the map. The other thing it does, and I don't think I have time to really go through all this, but at the end it sets these commands, sends a block down here, and then these are actually the fill commands to go around the room. So if you remember in the map, these change. They're all different fill commands. So when you put the proper wool in the chest, it'll activate these and set all these and change the color of the room. Okay, so there you have the transforming stairs that I absolutely love, and I will show you how I did that. It is not really complicated, but it's a lot of work because I physically went through every single frame, not physically, but I actually went through every single block I wanted to move it up, move it out, in the order I wanted to, one by one, to get it proper. And I want to show you something really cool that not a lot of people play with, and that is extended sticky pistons. Not piston extensions, but extended. I'm going to set a sticky piston that's extended, and you'll see this block here. Watch this. See how it pulls out now, or pulls in. Now, why is that cool? Well, it creates a cool effect, but if you hear it, if you listen, it doesn't have the pushing out sound effect. So it's basically the thing is ready to pull in. And originally when I made the staircase, I wanted it to look like there was no pistons, just the blocks moving, which is kind of how I like how it came out. But basically, it's just a whole bunch of these things. You have to actually break that now. That just go out through with all these repeaters and stuff. Now, be careful if you're going to play with this stuff. Um, you've got to actually remove the piston, otherwise there's a problem there. It can't grab it. You've got to remove it before you do the command. But if you want to take a look at what's going on there, I'll show you where the you can see all the commands, what's happening. It's this huge section right here. When you take a look at the map, the white one is right here, and then all this, you follow this line of repeaters, that is all the extended piston commands. So basically it's breaking the one before that gets placed, then it's placing another sticky piston, and you need to play with the data values of the, how do we get back in there? Data values of the, get me in, of the pistons, because 13 is one that's facing this way, that faces this way and pulls out. Where if I put in a 12, it'll be something different. There you go. It's from the other way. So that's kind of how that staircase works. And it also is sort of how this section here works, which is a little more complicated. But let's get into some of that stuff. Oh, I love this thing. Okay, so how does that work? And this is actually basically the same thing, just vertically versus horizontally. And let me show you up here. I've done a cutaway. I've got this little demo you can see there. Now if you watch, oh, it's a lot slower, so I have to actually wait for these repeaters to finish doing what they can for your demo. But what's happening is these lines here, these are the actual commands. Oh man, there's a lot of them. And most of them are just changing game rules, but here is kind of a cutaway basic version of what's going on. This is the amount of command blocks you need for just that little mechanic of it switching back and forth. So what's happening here is wherever it is, it's going to set a it's going to have a command block behind it. So when you activate the button, it'll set a redstone block up to here. We've got to change it to clay because we want to keep reactivating that anytime we can, which goes down here and actually removes the command block we just pressed. So if you can see the first animation, removes it. Once we remove the command block, we've got that extended sticky piston being placed, which pulls it back. And you can see that over here, pulls it back. The other thing that happens is it gives a little telros, so you can put whatever you want in there. You could do your teleport there or whatever you want. Next, we have a redstone block that's actually going to push out the opposite one because it's ending up in, and there we go. See, it pushed it out, so you get that effect. The piston's already there, and the redstone block will push it back out. And then we have the button that gets pushed on the front. And it just gets set in place. See, there's the button. And there's the button. Okay. Now the next step, did I do that one? Yeah, the button. And then the next step is we actually have to remove the piston, because if you place a block on the extension of a piston, it will screw up all the set block commands. And actually, it depends on where the fill is coming from. You may have to remove this part of the piston first before you do any fill commands. I've had to do that a few times. But when you're set blocking through pistons, just keep in mind that little section there of the piston, the back end, has got to be removed first. So over here, it's actually filling this whole section here. After it's pushed out, it's filling that, and then it resets the command block. Now this is a little bit more complicated, but you can set block a command block with a command in it with this replace command block data value 0, replace, and then you put your command in there to redstone block. So I'm not going to go over too much detail about the commands. I think if you just play through all this stuff, you should be able to find one. They're labeled here. Teleport command? There's one right there. Yeah, so that's setting all those, and it's also setting these, the same sort of thing. It's doing a clone command, adding all these. I actually built this before fill existed, so we're using clone here. Um, it's doing the exact same thing over above and below at the same time, going from behind it. It's actually deleting the block and pushing a new block into it. And I'll also show you back at the beginning one other thing that it's doing over here. Changed all the game commands, but let me hop over to the beginning and I'll show you something else it's doing. Okay, we're back at the spawn, and I wanted to show you this. I briefly looked at this at the very beginning of the video, but basically these commands are actually getting set as well. They are the game mode commands to stop you going into a game mode, whatever I set it at. In this case, adventure. Also changing the spawn point of the player who's late. So what's happening here is it's going to teleport whatever we want them to teleport in the branch. We have to set it back here as well, because if a player comes late or gets obstructed, they can go back in here and they can go back into the section that the other players are in already. Also, a sign appears that says if you're obstructed, check it out. The other thing that happens is over here, we have a teleport command. And we also have it gets set here. So there's a redstone block that comes from the hub, gets set over here at the very end. It plays the Enderman portal sound because we want to have that sound being played so they can hear it. The spawn chunks where we are now are loaded all the time, so we can hear any sound that's in them if we do an execute command. But if we put the sound, I had this problem before. If we put the sound at the where they are teleporting from, they'll actually teleport away and they won't hear that sound because because it's, I guess it's unloaded. I'm not entirely sure. We got their teleport, and we have every time it hits that, there's our sign that says enter here to go back. So basically, when we select where we are at the teleporter, it also does additional teleporter here on this pressure plate to go to the branch that we've selected over there. All right, finally, I think I've kind of gone over everything there. And of course, leave your comments if you have any other questions. I will have some links in the description. The cheaters area, I wanted to just show you how that worked. We have a button that ends up setting a chest here. There we go. And this chest is trapped because it activates a clock down here. It activates a clock. So if I, let's see, if I have that open, let's see if you can see it. See how that's particles there? It's actually activating a clock that gets activated here. So if I press this button, watch, there you go, there's a clock. And what's going to do is it's actually going to try and clear, it's kind of an easy way to do a test for command. It's going to try to clear whatever die you have. So whatever die you have while that chest is open, if you do orange, it's going to grab the orange die, or it's going to activate the orange comparator. So orange is right over there. And so it's going, clearing 14 is die color of orange. It's going to set a block somewhere that will actually activate a command. But here is our tell raw that tells us it's sympathizing that you had to quit over adventure. And then we have these clone commands. So what's happening is this nether brick fence locks you in the door, or locks you in the room, so that you have to kind of read. So there we go. So now I can't really leave unless I read the text, or if I press the button, I guess you could. But basically I've got the orange now, but what it has done is it's cloned this little section here. Set a sign here. It's cloned, or it hasn't cloned yet, but it's set a block, the orange stained glass, nether brick fence, which I thought just looked kind of neat with the colored glass, and a glowstone to light it up, and it gives you a, whatever the sign is, so whatever one you pick, it'll change it. If I, let's see, oh, I can't really do it now. If I was to have something else, let's see, actually, maybe I can. Die, if we do red rose, and we toss the orange away, then we do this, there you go. So now it's activating red. So it's able to detect what you are, and then sets all that, and it changes down here to glass. And then what happens now, because you're sort of stuck on picking that, as soon as you pick this wool, it's also changed this command block here. um, or maybe it hasn't. I can't remember. It automatically, whatever is down there, so I've already set this, it clones it up to here and gives it to you, and then you got to craft the die, and then you can put it in your chest. So that's kind of a run through, guys. It was a little bit longer of a video than I wanted, but there is a lot of stuff happening in this in this um in this hub here, and I wanted to kind of try and sum it up in one episode, the mechanics of it. Another thing is, if you are goofing around in the map, an interesting thing is if you put a blank command block in this chest, it will actually reset basically the whole thing, even if you have the ending done there. And there is something with slimes, but that was just a glitch I was trying to fix at one point. So that is basically it. There is a small section on how it selects players. You can look at that on your own. It actually is able to check if all the players are in the map. What else? There is the portal effect. The effects that come down. We have a particle portal from the command block, or actually at these coordinates on a clock that gets activated when they're stepping on the pressure plate. So yeah, there is some more stuff in here, but I think you can actually tinker around with that. You can go in creative mode in this. There's nothing to stop you going in creative mode in this section if you're looking at the map. But thanks for watching. Look at that. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit about making command blockery with these falling sand stuff. Cool. But yeah, next time, I'm not sure which. I think we're going to start going to the branches. I'm not sure where we're going to go. Maybe put in the comments which branch you want to visit, what we want to talk about first. And I may do every episode sort of like, here's my thought process, and then let's talk about how we did the sort of things that we did. But again, thank you for watching, guys. Enjoy your Minecrafting. Have fun with Diversity 2, and we will see you next time.